Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Abigail, and I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. So, it's Tuesday night. We had church tonight instead of tomorrow night because Thursday is Thanksgiving. Also because we had a missionary tonight. We had more of like a regular type service. Usually Wednesdays is Bible study, and then the youth go in the back and play games and have a little lesson. But we had a missionary tonight, so I got to sing. It was really good. We actually had a lot of people at church for it being almost a holiday. But something really scary happened to me. So basically, it was before we were gonna leave for church. I had set my bag down. If you don't know, I'm on a feeding tube. This is my pump over here, and then my bag. So let me just start off from the very beginning before all this happened. So, okay, this bag up here hooks to my feeding tube machine, and every 24 hours I switch it out, change it, and earlier the bag that was in my feeding tube machine before this one, it beeped on me. The pump beeped on me, and it was showing that there's like air in the tube. And so I primed it, which is where you get all the air out, and you make sure that the formula is at the very bottom, so when you push go, then the formula goes to my extension, which my extension hooks to my button, and then that's what feeds me. So, anyways, doing my own thing. I had gotten ready for church. Everything was good. About to leave for church, and I put my pump in my backpack, because I wear a backpack around, and my feeding tube was, too much of it was out of my backpack, and it caught on our kitchen chair, and it yanked it so hard that my extension came out. So if you're new to how feeding tubes work, so you have the feeding tube button, which is the thing that goes in the skin, and then you have an extension, which is a little thing that there's basically like this little hole in the button, in the feeding tube button, and the extension goes in that hole, and then you tape the extension to yourself, and then this bag right up here, see, the bag hooks to the pump goes down here, and or the line goes down here, comes from the pump, and then that line from the bag hooks to my extension. The extension hooks to my button, feeding tube button, and that's what feeds me. So this part of this line right here was hanging out of my backpack and caught on one of our kitchen chairs, and the extension that basically hooks the feeding tube bag to my button to feed me just ripped out. And at that point, I was in complete shock. I did not know if that was just the extension that came out or if it was the button. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I hollered for my mom from the other room. She ran in the kitchen where I was. We looked and everything looked okay. So thankfully what happened was my feeding tube got caught and it got wrapped around like a chair, because I was going to set my bag down to make sure. I'm supposed to set my pump in my bag a certain way, or it will sometimes beep on me. So it started beeping on me first, I think is what happened. And then it beeped on me a couple more times. Found out that it has this clip on the end of it that you close it so whenever you unhook yourself, formula doesn't come out the extension. Well, I had that closed, and so formula couldn't get in there. Couldn't get in the extension, so then it couldn't feed me. So we figured that out. And then I had that whole scare with what I just said about my feeding tube wrapping around the chair. It pulled at my extension, but thankfully it did not pull out my button. But I was so much in shock that I was worried that it might have. So we kind of stood there in a panic, and we looked at it, and it looked okay. And then we left for church, and got there probably about 17 or so minutes before it started, and did the things I needed to do for being on the stage. And we had a good service. I can't really talk about the service because we had a missionary, so the preacher came from somewhere else, and they didn't really say that the information that they shared was private, but just in case it is, I don't really like to share missionary type stuff because of privacy reasons. Because they go to a certain country to preach. Sometimes those countries can be dangerous. So anyways, I'm really glad that it was just my extension and not my button, because if it would have pulled my whole button out, I might have to go get a new one, and I would not. You can get a new button without surgery, like a feeding tube button without surgery, if you've already had the surgery to put one in. But the thing is that the hospital that we would have to go to place another button, if it yanked the button out, the stoma, which is the hole that the button goes in, can close, and if it closed on us, then I would have to have another surgery, and that would not be fun. So I'm really glad that even though it did hurt when it happened, it was just the extension and not the button. I am also trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So be sure that if you're not, that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I make videos about special needs, health issues, and feeding tubes. And I would love for y'all to follow my journey. It's free to hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, everyone.